Thank you so much. Sorry about that. We have something to arrange. Okay, so should we move to the session 2? All right, thank you very much. So welcome back to session 2. I'm still here. Okay, so our session 2, the topic is cross-border anti-corruption efforts in Asia Pacific, enhancing regional cooperation. So according to Transparency International, 71% of countries in Asia and the Pacific have a CPI score below both the regional average of 45 and the global average of 43 out of 100. These low scores indicate elected officials' failure to address anti-corruption efforts, alongside repression of civil society and attacks on press, assembly, and associations freedoms. Focusing on the importance of regional collaboration, this topic will address the need for coordinated anti-corruption efforts across Asia-Pacific nations. It will discuss the establishment and strengthening of regional anti-corruption networks, the harmonization of legal frameworks, and the sharing of best practices and intelligence. So ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 panelists on this session. So I would like to introduce, first of all, the former chairman of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission from the Philippines, Mr. Grego Antonios Beda Banta Belgiga. Please welcome him on stage. Secondly, we have the Assistant Director of the Operations Department Independent Commission Against Corruption from Hong Kong, Mr. Lau Jiho. Thirdly, we have a faculty member of the School of Law, Rangsit University. Please welcome Dr. Thanet Sucharigun. And lastly, the advisor at the State Audit Office from Thailand. Please welcome Dr. Suthi Suntaranurak. Again, this session will be 60 minutes, same as session 1, starting with individual address, 8 to 10 minutes per speaker, and I will manage the time, followed by selected questions and questions from the audience. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Grego Antonios Beda Banta Belgiga, sorry if I mispronounced, the former chairman of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, the Philippines, to deliver us a presentation. Please, sir. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you here. My presentation is presented in these slides. I am former chairman of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission in the Philippines, and my topic is cross-border anti-corruption efforts in Asia, enhancing regional cooperation. Corruption is akin to a malignant tumor that draws its strength from anonymity. Thus, it must be detected or exposed and addressed to save society from the certainty of death and decay. The spread of this life-threatening illness has exponentially increased with the use of technology. Our region, like the human body, unless we unite and concertedly resolve this social disease, this cancer will spread within our region to destroy our countries and our peaceful coexistence. Our proposed solution. Acknowledging that the PACC, which was the office I headed, needs to learn from the best practices of other countries on anti-corruption efforts, we first went to China in December 2018. The National Supervision Commission, headed by Li Shulei, hosted a dinner, and we learned that China also has a problem. They want to catch fugitives who hide in other countries. With technology, they discovered that 2 of the most wanted corrupt officials are hiding in the Philippines. They requested us to help in the arrest and deportation of these criminals. On January 16, 2019, fugitive Si Haoji was arrested by the PACC. 3 years later, he was arrested and deported to China in 2021 after a pursuit that began in 2011. This paved the way to a memorandum of cooperation between the PACC, our office, and the National Commission of Supervision of the People's Republic of China. In April 2019 at the Belt and Road Initiative in Beijing. This cooperation extended worldwide. Anyone from the NACCC of Thailand here? Anyone? This is Kamon from the National Anti-Corruption Commission of Thailand. He attended a 2-week seminar on the anti-corruption together with the representatives from other countries worldwide. The cooperation turned into a lasting friendship. This is what the WACC is doing right now. In the seminar, we learned that with the use of technology, it only takes 95 dedicated people in China to monitor complaints and refer them to appropriate agencies for immediate action. Conclusion, we need to accept the fact that although we have different forms of government, laws, and culture, we need to find a common ground that will bind us together, such as the use of technology and sharing of information to win the fight against corruption in our region. There is unity in diversity through technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Lau Chi-ho to address your presentation, please.
Thank you. I can have to present. Thank you. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow speakers. It's really my honor to be part of it. I would like to contribute as far as I could. Thank you again for introducing me. I am Paul Lau from ICAC of Hong Kong, China. So today our topic of this panel is how to enhance regional cooperation. But before we dive into this topic, I would like to ask questions to each and every one of you. So why is international cooperation such important? So we have heard about a lot of insights from our distinguished keynote speakers this morning. We all know that it's important. The answer appears to be obvious, that we need to elevate everyone's capability in fighting this invisible crime, which by nature is cross-border and is fugitive, runs from country to country. The fund flow easily cross the boundary. So it is very obvious that we need to work together in order to tackle this insidious crime. But apart from it, I would like to remind everyone that we all actually have legal obligations to work together. So talking about this is the international law that our countries have respectively signed into. To put it into the position that by law, we really have to work together to fight against corruption. So speaking of this, I guess you know that I'm referring to this convention, which has been mentioned by Mr. Abu Qasim earlier, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. I would like to spend a little bit time on this, although it is very I'm sure that everyone knows about it. It was adopted in 2003, and it is the only legally binding universal anti-corruption instrument worldwide. And as of August of 2024, there are 191 parties covering about 140 signatories around the world who have ratified this convention. By ratifying it, the countries commit themselves to implementing its provisions and cooperating with other states members in the fight against corruption. So it is a very short convention. It covers like 71 articles only. I spent about 1 hour to finish this. I really encourage you to read it article by article. Chapter 4 concerns international cooperation. So member states have to assist each and other to fight against corruption in terms of providing mutual assistance in civil and administration matters, extraditions, transfer of a sentenced person, MLA in investigations, mutual legal assistance, whether it is formal or informal cooperation, judicial proceedings, executing of search or arrest warrants. So we have to, by law, we have the obligations to assist one another. And chapter 5, we emphasize on asset recovery, which is a very, very important topic. We not only want to put the wrongdoer into prison, we need to get back our money, which is actually the public funds most of the time. And chapter 6, it deals with technical assistance and information exchange. And as far as ICAC of Hong Kong, China is concerned, our stance is that we're fully committed to international cooperation. And we have actually established dedicated units within our commissions to deal with Chapter 4, Chapter 5, and Chapter 6 of UNCAC. So our international counterparts should have come across with our international liaison unit when we are dealing with cases. So we are very welcome and committed in providing assistance when our counterparts, overseas counterparts, send us requests to conduct formal or informal inquiries into their corruption investigation. I know MLA, mutual legal assistance, we need to go through a lot of paperwork, it takes time, but as far as informal cooperation, it is really a message, an email, or a phone call that will do already. But of course, we need to build trust before we enter into that collaboration. And I think this forum like this is the perfect platform for us to really get to know each other and work together. So we have also mutually benefited by sending our requests to overseas counterparts, so to assist our investigation that might somehow spilled over to Southeast Asia countries or Asia-Pacific regions. So as far as Chapter 6 goes, we even take it to the next level by establishing an international academy. So in 2004, February this year, we established the Hong Kong International Academy Against Corruption. And the prime mission is to establish an international platform to foster anti-corruption efforts and advance global anti-corruption causes. So it has several strategies, and one of the very important key strategies is to provide international training. When I'm talking about training, it doesn't really, it's training per se. We treat it more like an exchange opportunities so that we can learn from each other. So we arrange tailor-made programs or thematic programs like financial investigation, asset recovery, use of technology, combating corruption in construction sectors, things like that. We sometimes do it in Hong Kong, which is a nice platform that we can invite multiple anti-corruption agencies to share and exchange their ideas and experience in Hong Kong. And sometimes we also send our trainers to respective jurisdictions, countries. This year we have provided trainings like over 20 and reaching out or connecting with 70 countries. I think we have also connected with over 2,000 anti-corrupt fighters, and this is something we will continue to do, and it's free of charge. Actually, I'm doing the annual budget for my department for next financial year, and really we have to be held accountable on the each dollar we spend. And we are often asked by parliament members or the government why we are spending so much resources in terms of manpower and money on international cooperation. So, I mean, we are providing training to overseas counterparts. So we are often asked, why are we doing this? And the answers are quite simple, as I mentioned before. We have a need to do so. It advances our collaboration. We have the legal obligations under the UNCAC. So the government is happy about it. The taxpayers is happy about our justification. So we will continue doing this. I hope that our academy will continue to play an important role in empowering global anti-corruption efforts. So the next point I would like to mention is international organizations. So we do not do anti-corruption work alone. We partner with international organizations like UNODC. We actively participate in Global meeting. It was like last month in September, there was a plenary meeting and steering committee meeting held in Beijing of China. And then we have actively participated in the APEC meeting. We have ACT working group or ACT Net. So we also sent officers to attend physical meeting in Peru this year. And also the IACA, I know many of you are very supportive to these organizations. And we actually see a lot of benefit by joining the activities and joining the platforms of international organizations, because they really provide good value for us to exchange with each other. It also leads different topics as far as corruption is concerned. Without knowing the international topics, hot issues, we would be always staying in our rabbit hole. So we actively participated in them. So, sorry, I'm still in this. Yeah, it should be this slide. So, concerning IAACA, we also actively participated in it. Some of you may be aware that our commissioner of ICAC Hong Kong is also the president of this IAACA starting from 2022. So far, it has got 176 members all over the world. We hope it is helping to lead the road to shape international anti-corruption initiatives and foster collaboration globally. And its prime objective is also to promote the UNCAC to UNCAC. So I hope that we can make use of those platforms so that we can meet each other more often, make friends, build trust. As I mentioned before, for law enforcement agencies, we really need to build trust, because our investigations are confidential. If we don't know each other, how can I send the confidential information across the ocean and telling them that I'm investigating some corporates, I need your assistance? So we really need a platform like this to build trust, to make friends. And I know time is running out, so it will be my last slide. This is some CPI index, rule of law index, world competitive index. Singapore is doing great. We are not as good as Singapore, but we're not that bad. So for CPI, we rank 14th in 2023. And for the rule of law index, there is an absence of corruption sub-index. We rank 9th in last year. And for the world competitiveness yearbook, absence of bribery and corruption item, we rank 4th in last year. So I'm showing you this slide not to demonstrate that ICAC in Hong Kong has been doing okay. I want to mention one concept is perception. So all these surveys are perception-based. We know as far as measurement of corruption is concerned, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult if we want to make it evidence-based. So most of them are perception-based. Even in last year, in 2023, the UNODC has advocated a new statistical framework on measuring corruption. It was published in Conference of States Parties in Atlanta in December last year. So there are over 150 parameters to measure corruption, and they try to make it evidence-based, but it is very difficult to make them all evidence-based, and some of them remain to be perception-based. So what I'm trying to say is perception is important in terms of measuring corruption. And when in the lengthy battle of the fight against corruption. We really need to change everyone's mindset. So how can we change people's perception? I think in Hong Kong, our experience is that we talk about it. We openly tells members of the public that we are committed in fighting corruption. We discuss how to deal with corruption openly. So this is actually a crime deterrent as well. This morning, former prime minister mentioned about crime deterrent. I was waking up and then he mentioned that I totally agree with him that increasing the sentence would not bring down crime. It is well established in criminology academically because it is a university we are here in. So I try to borrow some ideas from the academic world. Is that if you want to bring down crime, it's not about increasing the sentence. It's, however, increasing the certainty of potential criminal, their perception or how they perceive that, whether they will be arrested for their wrongdoing. Just imagine if a potential criminals are about to commit a crime, and if he is very certain that his wrongdoing will have 100% being revealed, he or she would not dare to commit that crime. So a crime deterrent theory is that we have to increase the certainty of being apprehended, perceived by potential criminals. So I think perception, or we openly talk about it, demonstrating how different government authorities are committed in fighting corruptions. So we can flex our muscle to members of the public, to different stakeholders, and even to the potential criminals that everyone in this room, everyone in Asia-Pacific region are committed in fighting this crime. So my last point would like to make is perception. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Thanet Sujarikun, the faculty member of School of Law, Rangsit University. Please, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Originally, I have written 30 pages paper on ASEAN cooperation to fight corruption by means of mutual legal assistance, money laundering, and extradition. But as I understand that I have only 8 minutes, I reduced it to 30 pages PowerPoint, but still I think I cannot make it. So I reduced it to 3 pages paper. So if anyone can put it on the screen, it will help my presentation. I will start with, is it a new phenomenon or a new crime? I mean, corruption? No, it is not new. It has been in existence since history. It has been reported that corruption is one of the major causes which contributed to the fall of Roman Empire. This is very interesting. Now we know that it has been with us for a long time. What is it? What is corruption? There is no hard and fast definition as far as I research, but some organization or some entity or some dictionary put it which I like it. For example, Transparency International defined corruption as an abuse of entrusted power for private gain. I like it very much because this is very flexible, very broad, and it is one of my major recommendations for the solution. Another one is from the dictionary. You may wonder why I use dictionary, because most of the crimes, I mean corruption crime, is inscribed in the treaty. And a treaty must be interpreted by ordinary meaning of the term, which plain meaning. So I use the dictionary. For example, Webster Dictionary defines corruption as an dishonest or illegal behavior, especially by powerful people. Okay. So corruption concern and deal with mostly by powerful people. So we have to fight it, and we may have a difficulty to fight it. Okay. don't worry, my paper does not on the screen. I just speak really slowly. So, is it a crime then? Yes, it is a crime, because virtually all states in the world impose it or penalize it as a crime. Corruption has been provided in several treaties. For example, UNTOC, United Nations Convention on Transnational Organized Crime. And this is the original, the first one, which talks about corruption. And the second one is very, very important now, is UNCAC, United Nations Convention Against Corruption. It has also a definition. It has also mentioned about crime of corruption. But it is interesting to note that both the UNTOC, UNTOC, and UNCAC, there is no definition as to what is corruption. But they use the elements of crimes. The elements of crime is the conduct of the people. If a person conduct as such, it will constitute a crime of corruption. So it's interesting why they do so. I believe that the reason why they do not have any definition on corruption, they may fear that if we have a definition, it may be too narrow or it may be too broad. And corruption continually changes every time, every minute. Even every second is changed, because now technological progress and anything about computer, the internet, change things very fast, instantly. All right, it is a crime. It is a crime by national law. It is a crime by international law. But in terms of international law, there are two kinds of international law. The first one is a customary international law. A second one is a treaty. Okay. What are the difference between them? A customary international law is not a written international law. It is a mere practice of states which has been repeated for a certain period of time with a sense of legal obligation, which we call in Latin opinio juris. If a conduct comprises the three components, the three elements, then a conduct may be a crime. And a crime here is a universal crime. It binds every state in the world, notwithstanding any treaty in existence. An example may be piracy. What about corruption? Is it a universal crime yet? No, it is not, because it is just a crime under certain treaties, which I have mentioned, a crime under several national laws. But it has not yet achieved the status of a universal crime like piracy, which I will recommend later on that what we should try to do is to make corruption crime a universal crime like piracy. If we can do that, we can do away with the impediments which we talk about it later on, okay? So if it is a crime under several treaties, what are they? The first one, which I have mentioned, UNTOC, I have already talked about it. The second one is UNCAC. And the third and the fourth one concern ASEAN. In the context of ASEAN, we call it ASEAN instrument. ASEAN instrument is an agreement between or among ASEAN member states in written form in the context of ASEAN, which create rights and obligations under international we call ASEAN instrument. What are they? There are a lot, but I have just to mention two, which I think very important. The first one is ASEAN Treaty on Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters, AMLAC, AMLAC. The second one is concerning with extradition, but we have not yet reach the agreement. What kind of extradition treaty between ASEAN member states should be? We have only the model law. We call ASEAN Model Extradition Treaty, MAET. But the treaty itself, extradition treaties between or among ASEAN members is still going on negotiation. Okay. What are the means, the significant means to fight the corruption? There are a large number of it, but for the sake of brevity, I just only to mention that, first of all, criminalizing corruption. Second one is according mutual legal assistance. Third one is anti-money laundering, which is very important now. And lastly, according extradition. All right. Are there any impediments concerning the 3 measures or the 4 measures that I have mentioned? There are as much as 15 or even 20 impediments. But for the sake of time and for summary, I just would like to mention, first of all, bank secrecy. Unfortunately, corruption crime at the present concerning transfer of money, transfer of the proceeds of crime. If a person is offering, is giving promise, or do anything against or towards public officials, whether national public official or foreign public official or international civil servants, that may constitute a crime. They may ask the official to give them undue advantage. Yeah. I like it very much because both UNTOC and UNCAC say that if a person giving promise or giving something to an official to gain undue advantage or unjust advantage, then that constitutes a crime. Okay. What happens if the undue advantage happens to be a money? The person who commits a crime may transfer the money right away to some place else, especially to the countries which have a law prohibiting revealing certain facts about that money, which you call bank secrecy. Then it's the end of it. Okay. Another thing which is close to bank secrecy is a fiscal matter. A country normally refused to cooperate, whether by means of mutual legal assistance or extradition. They may adhere to the principle that if a crime concerning bank, if a crime concerning fiscal matter, which we do not know exactly what does it mean, then they will refuse cooperation. So country A cannot ask country B, can you identify the criminal, the fugitive offender, the proceeds of crime, where it is, can you help us? They can simply say that, oh, I would like to help you, but sorry, my national law prohibits we are doing so because we have bank secrecy, we have prohibition against revealing anything about a fiscal offense, then it's the end of the fighting against corruption. Okay. Okay, if the country agree that even if it is a bank secrecy, if it concerns fiscal policy, but we will assist you in terms of investigation, then another hurdle is that a request for assistance or the offense must be dual offense, which we call dual criminality. The name of the crime must be the same. Country A and country B have the same offense, the same name, or very close. And secondly, the elements of the crime must be the same. You have to have both. The name is the same, the elements of crime or the conducts of crime are also the same. if one element is missing, that means there is no dual criminality. And then the end of the story, no cooperation. That's what the UNTOC and UNCOC trying to cope with it. As of now, the two conventions say that if there is a request for mutual assistance, you cannot refuse just on the ground that the request concerning bank, the request concerning fiscal crime, you have to cooperate. I'm really glad to hear that. But in terms of extradition, that's still a hurdle. They say that even though we help you in terms of mutual assistance, but this is not the case. This is a case of extradition. I cannot help you because we require dual criminality. And your request does not fulfill the requirements, okay? And I just will start now. I just would like to mention about possible solution because I have only 8 minutes, and you can ask me a question later. But I think that there are some solutions, in my opinion. The first one is enlightening states as to the hideousness and seriousness of corruption crime. Because corruption ruin and destroy everything: justice, rules of law, economies, and everything. I think it is worse than piracy, because piracy now rarely happens because we have everything to control, right? But corruption is very subtle. It can happen everywhere, every minute, without notice. So I think it is more hideous and more serious even than piracy. Why don't the international community realize that and do away with the very old or traditional principle of extradition, like bank secrecy, like fiscal crimes, like dual criminality, like double jeopardy, or everything? Please realize that the world is changed. It's not the time for Hugo Grotius, the father of international law, 200 years. It is now the world with technology. Technological progress can make traditional international law with respect to jurisdiction and extradition obsolete. So we should enlighten the international community as such, as we are here now. We are trying to make an understanding what it is. Is it serious? Okay. And secondly, making corruption crime a universal crime, not just a treaty. Because the goodness things about customary international law is that once a crime gains the status of a universal crime, a crime under customary international law, it then can bind everyone, not just parties to the treaty. I have a sign that I have to stop now, but I can answer a question later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The last panelist, I would like to invite Dr. Suthi Suntaranrak, the advisor at the State Audit Office, Thailand, please.
Okay, before lunch. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, yes, thank you so much. Yes, on behalf of the State Audit Office of the Kingdom of Thailand, or SAO, we would like to thank the International Strategy Institute, ISI, and Rangsit University to invite us, SAO Thailand, to share our view about the anti-corruption efforts, especially focus on enhancing regional cooperation. Let me start with our audit community. Since 1953, we have been strong collaboration more than 70 years ago. Our global collaboration in the audit communities, we have a big and fruitful community that we call INTOSAI. INTOSAI came from International Organization of the Supreme Audit Institution. INTOSAI have 195 SAI around the world. In Asia, we collaborate together too, known as ASOSAI, the Asian Organizations of Supreme Audit Institution. The ASOSAI, we have 47 SAIs. ASOSAI is a sub-regional of the INTOSAI. This is our story. Nowadays, we are facing the global challenge that the INTOSAI and ASOSAI have attempted to adapt and share our good practice and solution among SAI to respond this challenge. The twin disruption represent both digital transformation and the COVID-19 pandemic. That makes a new era as known as the next normal. I would like to share my humble view that the global challenge in the next normal show the 6 challenges as follows. Firstly, economic recovery. Second, health security. Third, digital transformation and cyber security. Fourth, the climate change. Fifth, social inequality. And sixth, demographic shift. Last year in 2023, from our research paper in the ASOSAI, we found that SAI in Asia, they are preparing themselves for the future of the good governance. We define the 3 characteristics of the future of good governance in the next normal era as, firstly, leveraging technology and digital transformation. Second, prioritizing sustainability for the good governance. And lastly, addressing the social equity and inclusion. The first characteristic, the good governance must leverage the technology to improve the service delivery, increasing transparency and accountability. Also engage with the citizens in the new and innovative ways. This includes promoting the digital inclusions and addressing the digital divide. Second, good governance must prioritize the sustainability, including the policy promoting like the energy efficiency and the environmental protection. Third, good governance must address the social equity and inclusion to promote more just and equitable society. From our audit perspective, that we know that from the auditor view, is not only the anti-corruption effort through our audit mandate, but also the SAI attempt to promote the future of the good governance too. The SSI member found that the AIR model is a good way to support the new good governance. The AIR model consists of, first, adaptive, second, innovative, and the last one, responsive to the emerging challenge and prioritize transparency, accountability, also the citizen engagement. From our research, we propose the implementations of the AIR model for the SAI supporting the future of the good governance as a 5 approach. Firstly, building the strategic agility. Second, promoting the digital transformation. Third, fostering collaboration and partnership. Fourth, promoting the innovation. Fifth, strengthening capacity of the auditors and the site staff. Let me start with building the strategic agility. Our SAI, we need to adapt rapidly, changing the environmental and building the strategic agility that can help them to do so. SAI should develop a clear visions and set strategic priority and engage with the other stakeholders in order to understand the emerging challenge and opportunity. Second, promoting the digital transformation. SAI need to adapt to promoting the digital transformation. SAI should include the leveraging the new technology to improve the service delivery, increase the transparency, accountability, also engaging with the citizen as a new and innovative way. Third, fostering collaboration and partnership. Nowadays, our SAI community cannot operate in the isolation, and building the partnership and collaborations that can help them leverage the resource and expertise to achieve their goals. SAI should consider the partnering with the other SAI, like also the CSO and anti-corruption agencies, and also the other stakeholders in order to promote the good governance and achieve shared objective. Promoting the innovation. In order to stay ahead of the emerging challenge, as I mentioned about the emerging issues as a significant change in the next normal era, SAI need to promote the innovation and creativity. Many SAI may involve adopting the new methods and the technology. From my research and from my humble view, I view that many SAI around the world nowadays, they try to initiate that they call the audit laboratory in order to initiate the audit method, the new audit method and the new audit technology in order to encourage the experimentals and the risk-taking and supporting a culture of the innovation and continuous learning. And also the last one is about the strengthening the capacity. SAI must strengthen their capacity by investing their staff and resource. And nowadays, many SAI, they try to invest the concept of also the approach about the forensic accounting and also the forensic auditing. SAI should include developing the training program, fostering the knowledge sharing and collaboration, and upgrading our infrastructure and technology to support their work. In summary, finally, I would like to summarize as follows. First, preparing SAI for the future of the good governance requires a holistic approach that addresses emerging challenge and opportunity. And by adopting this concrete approach, SAI can position themselves as effective and impactful leaders in promoting the new good governance in the next normal. Thank you for your attention. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you very much, sir. Now thank you, sir. Now we're going to move on to the Q&A sessions. We have two questions right here. The first questions would be to Mr. Grego. Okay, so this question is about technologies. We have heard that you mentioned about technologies in cooperation and information sharing. So how can technology facilitate cooperation and information sharing among countries, sir?
As what happened to the relationship and operation that was conducted by the Philippines through the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission in China, we were able to arrest and deport the two most wanted fugitives because of corruption that China was looking for. And through technology, they were able to detect the whereabouts of these fugitives, and then they approached the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, and in 3 days we were able to recover and arrest and deport the first fugitive, and it took another 3 years to get the other fugitive that was already wanted for over 11 years until we came. That ushered in cooperation between China and the Philippines by drawing up a memorandum establishing the relationship of the two countries. And when we visited their operation, we learned that they are able to monitor and address issues on corruption in China with only 95 people, dedicated people, by using technology. And this system can, by sharing information and technologies, we can all, as a region, advance our operations and capabilities of helping each other and determining problems with regards to jurisdiction, laws, cultures, and system, and work on those things to improve our operations and investigations and our fight against corruption.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. The next question is based on the presentation of you. I learned one thing from you guys, that cooperation is crucial in anti-corruption. So I would like to ask the question that, in your opinion, could you elaborate a little bit more on how can countries in Asia Pacific can collaborate more effectively, right? How can we make it happen, right? So please, sir, let's start from Mr. Lau Shiho.
Thank you for your question. So I think I mentioned in my presentation is that the key is to build trust. So in Hong Kong, we are starting to sign MOU, Memorandums of Understandings, with ACAs of different countries. This year, we actually have signed a MOU with UNODC, a very important strategic partner with ICAC. And we have also signed MOU with 6 other anti-corruption agencies around the world. So actually, in the process of discussing the terms of the MOU, we really have to get to know each other, because in some cases, there are more than one anti-corruption agencies in one country, so they have different powers, they have different mandates. So in the process of discussing the terms, we know their policy, their governance structures, their interests, the policy, things like that. So it really gets to know each other, and in the process, we really build trust, we really build friendship. So without that, we can't cooperate further. So that is the basis of things. And then we, as I mentioned before, we make friends in international forum like this. So over the years, if we get into our address book in our email list, so if we need help, we can easily find our alliance around the world. So this is my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Tanet, please.
Yes.
The same question, sir. How can countries in Asia Pacific can collaborate more effectively in anti-corruption? How can we make it happen, sir, in your opinion?
Yes, the simple answer is that country in Asia, which is a region, we can supplement treaties which operate worldwide, like UNCAC, UNTOC, and we can even conclude treaties among ourselves. But we have to be cautious that the new treaty which we are going to conclude among ourselves should not be in discrepancy with the existing treaties. You should have a provision to the effect that the new treaty, nothing in the new treaties shall affect the rights and obligation of the existing treaties. If we have a provision like this, a provision which we will contain in relation with other agreements or treaties, then the treaty which accord the most rights and impose the most obligations shall prevail. Okay? And another thing is that we should try to harmonize the law. At the present, we have 3 levels: the world level, UNTOC, UNCAC. At the ASEAN level, we have ASEAN mutual legal assistance. Sometimes they are coincide, but sometimes they are in conflict. And several national law may be in conflict with both. How can we do with it? According to the law of treaty, there is a principle that the one which is more specific shall prevail. That would mean that the most specific is the national law or bilateral treaties. It may prevail over the multilateral treaties. But the provision of the national law and the regional law may be less effective than the world treaties. So you have to be really careful on that. Another principle is that the one which come later in time. At the present time, in the ASEAN context, we do not yet have ASEAN extraditional law. We still quarrel. And ourselves, it was negotiated behind closed door. I don't know the progress of it. But one thing that you must be careful is that you should not do anything which trump or do anything which is inconsistent with the world treaties. You should have a provision like I have already stated. And most of all, I think very, very important, all countries in the world, especially in the regional or in the ASEAN context, we must realize that the world is now changing. The traditional principle of international law with respect to jurisdiction or any impediments which I have already mentioned is obsolete because it's changing every day. You know, technological progress make everything obsolete. Like computer technology, floppy disk is not used anymore. We use the cloud in the sky. Rather, it changed within a matter of a year or a matter of a second. So you should not adamantly adhere to the traditional principle which is very obsolete, very old. Thank you.
I've heard about, you mentioned about universal crime, to make corruption a universal crime. So in your opinion, is it possible to happen soon or it needs some time for international community?
It takes time, but once it reaches the status of a universal crime, then we can do away with all the impediments as I have already mentioned. It takes time, but it is possible. It's not insurmountable, it can be possible. One thing I noticed is that sometimes if you want to create rights and obligation, you will not do in terms of treaties. You do in a subtle way like General Assembly resolution. General Assembly resolution is not a legal document. It's not binding, legally speaking, but it can contribute, first of all, practice of state, because representatives of member states all over the world meet every day, every night, and then it can create practice of state. If the practice is repeated in the same manner, like 10 years, 100, 1,000 resolution, speak the same thing, that corruption is a hideous and serious crime that we must do away with it. Then it constitutes a practice of state, which has been repeated. But if all the 100 or 1,000 resolutions that it is mandatory that we have to do, then we do it with a sense of legal obligation, opinion or jurist. If we achieve the same thing, then corruption is a universal crime. Then we can have an effective argument that you have to suppress the crime. You cannot refuse for the sake of, no, the criminal is my national. No, we do not have treaty among each other. No, it is a bank secrecy, which we assign very much important to it. No, it's concerned fiscal matter. What is the fiscal matter? Then there can be no solution. But to speak is very difficult. It's easy to do. It's very, very difficult. But something happened in the world, like the principle of common heritage of mankind. In the law of the sea, at one time, only one country can exploit manganese nodule in the deep sea bed. That is the United States, and one company, Deep Sea Joint Venture. And the whole world say that, the United States say that manganese nodule in the deep sea bed is like a fish. Anyone who has power, anyone who can exploit, you can do it. It's like a fish in the ocean, in the high sea. The other countries say, no, this is a common heritage of mankind. They cooperate with each other, like European Union, like the Group of 77, like the Can groups, everything say the same thing. No, it is the common heritage of mankind. It is the expression, the will of the international community. Then the result is that manganese nodule in the deep sea bed now is a common heritage of mankind. The United States is the only one who is the persistent objector. It may be the reason why they do not ratify the UNCLOS United Nations Convention to Sea. You should avail yourself of the General Assembly to do. Yeah. Which I see we already done. We are concentrating on treaties.
Thank you, sir. So come back to Dr. Suthi. So the same question, sir. How can countries in Asia Pacific collaborate more actively?
Okay, thank you for your good question. From my experience, I would like to summarize in two approaches. The first approach I call to update the knowledge. In case of our audit community, as I mentioned, we have INTO-SAI, we have ASO-SAI. Also, we have the ASEAN side too. And this is our good collaboration amongst our SAI around the world. And every year, and we always update the audit knowledge, especially the audit knowledge about anti-corruption. When we update the knowledge, we always update about the audit objective, the audit topic, the audit objective, also the audit method. This is very interesting because we would like to know what happened with when the other SAI, they use the method. And finally, we would like to know about the audit findings. And after that, we would like to know how to communicate the audit findings and the audit recommendation with the other stakeholders. Because in case of the anti-corruption efforts, we have a lot of stakeholders, not only our audit entities. We have the state audit, we have the National Audit Commission, that we know, the POPASHAW is like the anti-corruption agency. We have to deal with the press too. This is another first approach that we always update the audit knowledge. Let me share our experience because in the INTO-SAI, it's not only in the ASO-SAI in Asia. We formulate as a working group that we call the INTO-SAI Working Group on the anti-corruption and fighting money laundering. That means the auditor, they have the power to relate it, some SAI, they have the power to relate it to fight against money laundering too. For example, from my research, and I work with my colleagues from Iran. The Iran, they have the mandate about the fighting against money laundering too. This is the first thing that mentioned about to update the knowledge. The second thing that approach that I think that we try to upgrade the audit mandate. And this is very interesting because nowadays all SAI around the world, they don't have the same mandate, audit mandate. Some SAI, they have the powerful. They can act like the juristic. Nowadays, about 50 SAI in the world, they communicate as that they call the jury side, jurisdictional side, jurisdictional supreme audit institution. They try to promote and support if any SAI they would like to upgrade their mandate, in order to fight against corruption and in order to relate it about the jurisdictional function, we can consult with them too. This is my view. Update the knowledge and upgrade the audit mandate. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we have like 5 minutes left for our session, so I would like to open the floor for questions from the audience. So if any of you have any questions for any panelists, please raise your hand and then we will have the microphone running to you. Any questions, sir, madam? Oh, this way, please.
Thank you. I would like to ask Dr. Suti Suntran about the next program of our SAO to cooperate with the
Excuse me, sir,
other
would you mind to put the microphone close to you?
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Yes, I would like to ask Dr. Suti about the future of the SAO, Supreme Audit Office of Thailand. How can we have a close collaboration and close cooperation with ASEAN side? ASEAN side. Right now we have 10 ASEAN members. Do you have any kind of common goals of ASEAN side or not? And how can we expect that we can have a foresight audit in terms of the future next decade or next 5 years, in the middle term? How can we develop and implement close cooperation among ASEAN in order to eradicate corruption in this region? Because our region has become a big pinpoint of the world right now that except Singapore, pardon, and except some modernized country look like Indonesia, Malaysia, and for other countries as well in ASEAN, we try to develop our country in order to have a transparency governance, right? So please explain a little bit to us about the future of ASEAN vis-a-vis to the collaboration among ASEAN side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Prasit. From my view, and also from our SAO Thailand, and nowadays we have a good opportunity to take a proactive role in the international community, especially that you mentioned about the ASEAN side. And nowadays, ASEAN side, we have the 10 SAI in ASEAN. We work together closely since more than 20 years ago. And one thing that our ASEAN side country that we work together and we share and learn together is about how to shift our mindset in order to achieve the final. Let me explain, because and in our audit community, we can separate as a 3 level and 3 layer. The first layer we call the oversight role. The oversight role that we conduct the financial audit, the compliance audit, also the performance audit. The second level we call the insight role. The insight role that we try to conduct the audit based on we use like, for example, we use the data analytics in order to analyze it's not only like the audit that it shift to another level. And the last one that you mentioned about the foresight role, this is an extreme role that many SAI around the world, especially the developed SAI like the GAO in US, like the NAO in UK, and also in even in Brazil. And they use the foresight concept in order to design the future for the audit entities in order to use the public spending wisely. And this is a highest that all of our SAI in ASEAN, we would like to move like this to achieve the foresight role. And nowadays, especially our SAI, based on our new Auditor General, Mr. Montien Charanpon, that he tried to initiate the foresight, the network in the ASEAN country. This is that I agree with Professor that nowadays everything is changed too much. That we call the global challenge, that we call the Barney world. It's not the VUCA world now. Now we are in the Barney world. So our SI community, we have to change. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And we have come to the end of the panel. Our time has run now, so I have to thank you again for Mr. Greco Antonios Beda Benta Belgica, Mr. Lau Chi Ho, Dr. Thanet Sujarikun, and Dr. Suthi Suntaran for joining with us today. And thank you so much for your insight and experience. I hope that we have learned a lot of things, especially myself have learned a lot of things. So thank you again. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for our moderators and the panelists. Before we proceed with the next discussion, actually proceed to the lunchtime. So then we would like to invite Mr. Jia up on the stage to present the token of appreciation to our panelists together with our moderator. Wow, that's very gorgeous moment now on the stage, and thank you very much, everyone.